The sound echoed through the entire restaurant like a gunshot. Simone Harris stood frozen behind the bar, her tray of champagne glasses nearly slipping from her hands as she watched the blonde pregnant woman's head snap to the side. The red mark bloomed instantly across her pale cheek. 7 months pregnant, maybe more, and her husband had just struck her in front of 50 witnesses. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. The Sterling Room was Chicago's most exclusive restaurant, where tech billionaires and old money families spent thousands on a single meal. Crystal chandeliers sparkled overhead. Soft piano music still played in the background. But every fork had stopped midway to every mouth. Every conversation had died. The pregnant woman, tears streaming down her face, touched her cheek with trembling fingers. Her husband, a man Simone recognized from business magazines as Nathan Ashford, tech mogul worth billions, leaned close to his wife's ear and hissed something that made her flinch. Simone's heart pounded. She was 26 years old, working double shifts to save money, and she knew what happened to waitresses who caused scenes. Gloria, her manager, had warned her 100 times. The customer is always right, even when they're wrong. But Simone had grown up in foster care. She'd moved through 7 different homes before aging out of the system at 18. She'd seen violence. She'd experienced helplessness. And she'd promised herself that if she ever had the power to stop someone from hurting someone else, she would. Even if it cost her everything. She set down the tray. Her hands were steady now, her decision made. She walked across the restaurant floor, her footsteps loud in the terrible silence. Other waitstaff stared at her with wide, frightened eyes. Diners watched like she was walking toward a wild animal. Nathan Ashford was standing now, gripping his wife's arm, trying to pull her from her chair. The woman was crying silently, her other hand protectively cradling her swollen belly. "Sir," Simone said, her voice clear and strong. "You need to let go of her right now." Nathan's head whipped toward her. His eyes were cold, entitled, furious. "Excuse me? Do you know who I am?" "I know exactly who you are," Simone said. She looked at the pregnant woman. Are you okay? Do you want to leave with him?" The woman's blue eyes met Simone's brown ones. In that moment, something passed between them. A recognition. A desperate, silent plea for help. "Rachel," Nathan said, his voice low and dangerous. "We're leaving. Now." "No," Simone said firmly. She turned to the restaurant. "Someone call the police. This woman is pregnant and she's been assaulted. We all saw it." For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then an older gentleman at table 12 pulled out his phone. A woman in pearls at table 8 did the same. Within seconds, half the restaurant was calling 911. Nathan's face turned purple with rage. He released his wife's arm and stepped toward Simone. "You just made the biggest mistake of your life. I will destroy you. I will destroy this restaurant. Do you understand what I can do to you?" Simone stood her ground, though her legs felt like water. "The only thing I understand is that hitting a pregnant woman is a crime. And I don't care how much money you have." Rachel sobbed once, a sound of pure relief, and then Simone was at her side, helping her stand, putting her own body between the pregnant woman and her violent husband. The restaurant had come alive now. Diners were shouting. Gloria was running toward them. And in the distance, sirens were already wailing. Have you ever witnessed something so wrong that staying silent felt impossible? What would you do if you were Simone? Drop a comment and subscribe to see how this story unfolds. Simone guided Rachel toward the back of the restaurant, away from Nathan's fury. Her manager Gloria appeared, face pale but determined. "Take her to my office," Gloria said quietly. "I'll handle this." Nathan started to follow, but 3 male diners had stood up, forming a human wall between him and the women. "I think you should wait for the police, buddy," one of them said calmly. In Gloria's small office, Rachel collapsed into a chair, her whole body shaking. Simone grabbed a bottle of water from the mini fridge and knelt beside her. "You're safe now," Simone said gently. "The police are coming. Can I call anyone for you? Family? Friends?" Rachel shook her head, fresh tears falling. "I don't have anyone. Nathan, he made me cut ties with everyone. My parents, my friends, everyone. He said they were jealous of our life. I believed him. Her voice cracked. I've been so stupid. You're not stupid, Simone said firmly. You're a victim. There's a difference. Through the office door, they could hear raised voices. Nathan was arguing with someone. Then a new voice, male but different, gentler, saying, Nathan, what the hell did you do? Rachel's eyes widened. That's Vincent. Nathan's brother. The door opened carefully. A man stepped inside, and Simone's breath caught. He looked like Nathan but softer somehow. Same dark hair, same strong features, but his eyes held warmth instead of ice. He wore an expensive suit but had loosened his tie like he'd been running. Rachel, Vincent said, his voice full of concern. He saw her face, the red mark still visible, and his expression crumpled. Oh God, Rachel. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. He turned to Simone. Thank you for helping her. The police are here now. Nathan's being questioned. Good, Simone said. Vincent knelt on Rachel's other side. I'm getting you out of here. Away from him. Permanently. I have a lawyer, the best in Chicago. I have secure places you can stay. Whatever you need, I'll provide it. Please, let me help you. Rachel looked at Simone uncertainly. Years of manipulation had made her doubt every offer, every kindness. Take the help, Simone said softly. You deserve to be safe. Your baby deserves it too. Rachel nodded slowly, then more firmly. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Vincent. 2 police officers entered the office. A woman officer with kind eyes sat down to take Rachel's statement. A male officer asked Simone to describe what she'd witnessed. Simone told them everything clearly and calmly. Other diners had given statements too. The evidence was overwhelming. We're arresting Mr. Ashford for assault, the male officer said. We'll need you both to press charges. I will, Rachel said, her voice stronger now. So will I as a witness, Simone added. Vincent stood, pulling out his phone. I'm calling my lawyer now. Rachel, you'll have full legal representation by tomorrow morning. I promise you, Nathan will face consequences for this. When the police finally led Nathan out in handcuffs, he was still shouting threats. But Rachel didn't even look at him. She was focused on her future now, on her baby, on survival. Vincent turned to Simone as they prepared to leave. You were incredibly brave tonight. What's your name? Simone Harris. Simone, he repeated, like he was memorizing it. I owe you more than I can say. Rachel owes you her safety, maybe her life. Can I have your number? I'd like to stay in touch, keep you updated on how she's doing. Simone hesitated only a second before nodding. There was something in his eyes, a genuine goodness, that made her trust him. As Vincent helped Rachel out to his car, promising to take her somewhere safe, Simone returned to the dining room. The restaurant had mostly emptied. Gloria approached her, looking worried. Corporate is going to call tomorrow, Gloria said. Nathan Ashford threatened to sue us for 1,000,000 different things before the police took him. I know, Simone said tiredly. I'm sorry if I cost you trouble. Gloria surprised her by pulling her into a hug. You did the right thing, honey. The only right thing. I'm proud of you. Whatever happens, I'm proud of you. Simone held on to her manager, letting herself feel the fear she'd been suppressing. She'd stood up to a billionaire. She'd made a powerful enemy. Her life might be about to get very complicated. But when she closed her eyes, she saw Rachel's face. The moment of hope that had replaced despair. It was worth it. Whatever came next, it was worth it. Simone's phone rang at 7 the next morning. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. Simone. It's Vincent Ashford. I hope it's not too early. She sat up in her small studio apartment, running a hand through her hair. No, I'm awake. Is Rachel okay? She's safe. I got her checked out by her obstetrician last night. The baby's fine, no complications. She's staying in a hotel suite I own, very secure, lots of privacy. He paused. She's asking for you, actually. She wants to thank you properly. Would you be willing to visit her today? Simone checked the time. She had a shift at 3. I could come this morning. Perfect. I'll text you the address. And Simone, there's something else. Nathan's lawyer contacted me. He's trying to settle this quietly, keep it out of the press. He's offering Rachel a substantial divorce settlement if she drops the assault charges. Simone's stomach turned. That's exactly what abusers do. Buy their way out. I agree completely, Vincent said, and she heard approval in his voice. I told Rachel the decision is hers, but I advised her not to take it. Money isn't worth letting him get away with violence. What did she say? She said she needs to think about it. Which is why your visit would help. She trusts you, Simone. You were the first person in a long time to show her real kindness without wanting anything in return. After they hung up, Simone got ready quickly. The hotel was in downtown Chicago, a gleaming tower she'd walked past 100 times but never entered. The lobby was all marble and gold, intimidatingly expensive. Vincent met her at the elevator. In daylight, he was even more striking. Tall, probably 6'2", with the kind of easy confidence that came from growing up wealthy. But his handshake was warm, his smile genuine. "Thank you for coming," he said as they rode up to the 15th floor. "I know this is above and beyond for you. Rachel needs support right now," Simone said simply. "I'm happy to help." The suite was bigger than Simone's entire apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city. Rachel sat on a cream sofa, looking small and lost in the huge space. But her face lit up when she saw Simone. "You came," Rachel said, standing carefully. She looked better than last night. The swelling on her face had gone down. She'd showered and changed into comfortable clothes. But her eyes still held shadows. "Of course I came." Simone hugged her gently, mindful of her belly. "How are you feeling?" "Scared," Rachel admitted. "But safer than I've been in years." She looked at Vincent, who was making coffee in the suite's kitchen. "Vincent's been wonderful. He brought me everything I needed. Clothes, food, toiletries. He even got my prenatal vitamins from my old place." Vincent brought over 3 mugs of coffee and a cup of herbal tea for Rachel. "I'm going to step out, give you two some privacy. Simone, there's breakfast in the kitchen if you're hungry. Stay as long as you like." After he left, Rachel finally broke down. She cried for 20 minutes while Simone held her, letting her release all the fear and pain she'd been holding inside. "I don't know how I got here," Rachel finally said, wiping her eyes. "I was smart, independent. I had a good job in marketing. Then I met Nathan, and he was so charming at first. By the time I saw who he really was, I was already isolated. Already dependent on him. That's how abuse works," Simone said. "It's never obvious at first. They don't start out hitting you. They start by controlling you bit by bit." Rachel nodded. "He wants me to drop the charges. His lawyer called offering $2 million and a quick divorce. Vincent thinks I should refuse. What do you think?" Rachel looked at her belly, placing both hands protectively over it. "I think my daughter deserves to grow up knowing her mother stood up for herself. That violence has consequences, even when you're rich." She looked up, eyes fierce now. "I'm not dropping the charges. Nathan needs to face what he did." Simone squeezed her hand. "I'm proud of you." They talked for 2 more hours. Rachel opened up about her marriage, the slow escalation of control and violence. Simone shared some of her own story, growing up without stability, learning to be strong because she had no choice. When Vincent returned, he brought lunch and news. "Rachel, I've arranged for my lawyer to meet with you tomorrow. Her name is Jennifer Walsh, she's the best family law attorney in Illinois. She'll help you file for divorce and handle the assault case." "Thank you," Rachel said, and this time her gratitude was mixed with determination. "I want to move forward. No more hiding." Vincent smiled. "That's exactly what I hoped you'd say." He looked at Simone. "Can I give you a ride home? It's the least I can do." In Vincent's car, a sleek black sedan that probably cost more than Simone would make in 5 years, they drove through Chicago's afternoon traffic. "You have a good heart," Vincent said suddenly. "What you did last night, it takes real courage." Most people would have looked away. I couldn't look away, Simone said. I've been powerless before. I know what it feels like. If I have the power to help someone, I'm going to use it. Vincent glanced at her, something warm in his expression. I'd like to get to know you better, Simone. If you're open to it. Maybe dinner sometime? As a thank you, but also because I think you're remarkable. Simone felt her heart skip. She'd been attracted to him from the start, but she'd assumed someone like Vincent Ashford would never notice someone like her. A waitress from the South Side, no family, no connections. I'd like that, she said softly. He smiled, and it transformed his whole face. Good. I'll call you. As she watched his car drive away from her modest apartment building, Simone felt something unfamiliar stirring in her chest. Hope, maybe. Possibility. The sense that her life was about to change in ways she couldn't yet imagine. 3 days later, Vincent picked Simone up after her shift. He'd called every day, checking on her, asking about her life, making her laugh with stories about his work in investment banking. Each conversation made her like him more. He took her to see Rachel's new apartment, a beautiful 2-bedroom in a secure building. Rachel was arranging baby clothes in the nursery, looking more peaceful than Simone had ever seen her. Vincent found me this place, Rachel said, showing them around. It's perfect. Safe, quiet, close to the hospital where I'll deliver. I never have to see Nathan again. The lawyer, Jennifer Walsh, had gotten an immediate restraining order. Nathan wasn't allowed within 500 feet of Rachel. The assault case was moving forward. And the divorce papers had been filed that morning. How do you feel about all of it? Simone asked, sitting beside Rachel in the sunny nursery. Free, Rachel said simply. Terrified but free. The prosecutor thinks Nathan will take a plea deal, avoid trial. He'll probably get probation and mandatory counseling. It's not much, but it's something. She touched her belly. And Rose won't grow up watching her father hurt her mother. That's everything. Rose? Vincent asked, smiling. You picked a name? Rachel nodded. Rose Patricia, after my grandmother. I called my parents yesterday. First time in 3 years. They cried. She started crying too, but these were happy tears. They're flying out next week. They want to be here for the birth. I thought I'd lost them forever. Simone blinked back her own tears. This was what healing looked like. Later, Vincent took Simone to dinner at a quiet Italian restaurant. Nothing fancy, just good food and better conversation. He asked about her dreams, her past, her hopes for the future. I want to go to culinary school, Simone admitted. I love cooking, creating new dishes. But it's expensive, and I barely make rent as it is. What if money wasn't an obstacle? Vincent asked. What would you do? I'd enroll tomorrow, Simone said without hesitation. There's a program at Le Cordon Bleu. 6 months intensive. But tuition is $30,000. It might as well be $1 million. Vincent was quiet for a moment, then said carefully, what if I offered to pay for it? As a gift, not a loan. Simone started to shake her head automatically. She'd learned early never to depend on anyone, never to accept what she couldn't repay. But then she stopped. Remembered her own advice to Rachel. Take the help. You deserve it. Why would you do that? She asked instead. Because you deserve the chance to pursue your dreams. Because you've already changed 2 lives just by being brave for 30 seconds in a restaurant. Because I believe in investing in good people. He reached across the table, taking her hand. And because I'm falling for you, Simone, and I want to be part of your life. If you'll let me. Her breath caught. She looked at their joined hands, his pale fingers intertwined with her darker ones. It felt right. Natural. I'm falling for you too, she whispered. It scares me. I've never had anything stable in my life. I don't know how to trust this. We'll figure it out together, Vincent said. One day at a time. No pressure, no expectations. Just honesty and respect. She squeezed his hand. Okay. Yes. To dinner, to culinary school, to seeing where this goes. Yes to all of it. His smile was radiant. Best decision you'll ever make. What do you think will happen when Nathan discovers Vincent is helping Rachel and dating Simone? Comment your predictions and don't forget to subscribe for the next chapter. Over the next 2 weeks, life shifted into a new rhythm. Simone enrolled in Le Cordon Bleu, starting classes in January. She gave notice at the restaurant, though Gloria threw her a going-away party and made her promise to come back and visit. Vincent courted her properly. Slow, sweet dates. Long walks along Lake Michigan. Movies and museums and conversations that lasted until dawn. He never pushed for more than she was ready to give. He learned about her childhood, the foster homes, the loneliness. She learned about his family, growing up with Nathan, watching his brother slowly become someone cruel. I always thought I could help him, Vincent admitted one night. They were in his apartment, cooking dinner together. I thought if I was successful enough, kind enough, it would rub off on him. Instead, he just resented me more. You can't save people who don't want to be saved, Simone said, stirring risotto. Trust me, I learned that lesson young. Rachel's baby shower was on a Sunday afternoon. Simone helped organize it, inviting Rachel's parents and old friends she was reconnecting with. Vincent bought half the gifts on the registry. The apartment was full of laughter and love. I never thought I'd have this again, Rachel told Simone, looking around at the celebration. A real life, real friends, safety. You gave me that. You gave yourself that, Simone corrected. You chose to press charges. You chose to leave. I just held the door open. You walked through it. As Simone watched Vincent playing with a friend's toddler, making silly faces that had the child giggling, she felt her heart expand. This man, this life, this possibility of happiness. It was real. It was hers. And she was finally ready to accept it. Nathan's first threat came via text message to Rachel's new phone number. The number was supposed to be private, but money bought information. You'll regret this. Both of you. Rachel showed it to Vincent and Simone immediately. Vincent called Jennifer Walsh, who took it straight to the judge. Within hours, Nathan had an additional charge for violating the restraining order and his bail conditions were modified. He's getting desperate, Jennifer explained over coffee. The assault case goes to trial next month. His legal team knows they'll lose. Too many witnesses, too much evidence. They're pushing hard for a plea deal. What kind of deal? Rachel asked. She was 8 months pregnant now, moving slowly, tired easily. But her spirit was stronger than ever. 6 months in county jail, 2 years probation, mandatory anger management counseling, and a permanent restraining order. Jennifer leaned forward. Rachel, I know it doesn't seem like much. But it's more than most abusers get. And it gives you legal protection going forward. Rachel looked at Vincent, then at Simone. What do you think? I think you've already won, Vincent said quietly. You're free, you're safe. Rose will be born into a peaceful home. Whether Nathan spends 6 months or 6 years in jail, that doesn't change what you've built for yourself. Take the deal, Simone agreed. Get this over with so you can focus on your daughter. Rachel nodded slowly. Okay. Yes. Let's accept the plea. The relief was immediate. Within a week, Nathan had signed the plea agreement. The divorce was finalized. Rachel received a fair settlement that would support her and Rose comfortably. Nathan would begin his jail sentence after the holidays. Simone had started culinary school and was thriving. The precision of cooking, the creativity, the way ingredients transformed into something beautiful, it felt like coming home. Her instructors praised her natural talent and innovative flavor combinations. Vincent visited her apartment one evening with takeout and wine. They'd been dating for 6 weeks now, and every day Simone felt more certain about him. He was patient with her fears, gentle with her past trauma, supportive of her dreams. I have something to tell you, Vincent said after dinner. He looked nervous, which was unusual for him. My company is expanding. We're opening a new office in New York. I've been offered the position of managing director. Simone's heart sank. That's amazing. Congratulations. It is amazing, Vincent agreed. But I turned it down. What? Why? Because my life is here now. Rachel's here, And she needs family around when Rose is born. My friends are here. And most importantly, you're here. He took her hands. I'm not asking you to give up culinary school or change your plans. I'm just saying I want to build a life in Chicago, with you in it. Simone felt tears prick her eyes. You gave up a promotion for me. I gave up a job for a life worth living, Vincent corrected. There's a difference. She kissed him then, properly, for the first time. It was sweet and slow and perfect. When they pulled apart, both of them were smiling. I love you, Simone said. The words felt natural, right? I think I've loved you since that first night, when you helped Rachel without hesitation. I love you too, Vincent said. I've been waiting to say it, wanted to make sure you were ready to hear it. They spent the night talking about the future. What they wanted, where they saw themselves in 5 years, 10 years. Vincent admitted he'd always wanted kids but had started to think it wouldn't happen. Simone confessed she'd been afraid to want anything permanent, convinced it would be taken away. We're both learning, Vincent said. How to trust, how to build something real. We'll figure it out together. As autumn turned to winter, their relationship deepened. Simone met Vincent's parents, who lived in Lake Forest. They were cautiously warm, clearly processing their older son's arrest while getting to know their younger son's girlfriend. Vincent's mother pulled Simone aside after dinner. Thank you for helping that poor girl. Rachel. Vincent told us what you did. That took real character. Anyone would have done it, Simone said modestly. No, Mrs. Ashford said firmly. Most people would have looked away. You didn't. That tells me everything I need to know about you. The approval meant more than Simone expected. She'd never had family, never had someone's mother accept her. It felt like pieces of a life she'd always dreamed of were finally clicking into place. Rachel went into labor on a Tuesday evening. Vincent and Simone rushed to the hospital, arriving just after Rachel's parents. The delivery was long but uncomplicated. At 3:47 a.m., Rose Patricia entered the world, screaming her displeasure at 7 pounds, 6 ounces. Rachel, exhausted and radiant, held her daughter while everyone cried happy tears. She's perfect, Rachel whispered. Absolutely perfect. Vincent stood beside Simone, his arm around her waist. You did this, he said softly. You saved them both. We all did it together, Simone corrected. But she felt the truth of his words. One moment of courage had cascaded into this. New life, new hope, new possibilities. As Rose yawned and settled against her mother's chest, Simone felt Vincent's hand find hers. Their fingers intertwined, solid and sure. This was family. This was love. This was everything she'd never known she could have. Nathan served his 6 months and was released on a cold February morning. Vincent got the notification immediately and called everyone to warn them. He can't contact Rachel legally, Vincent reminded her. The restraining order is permanent. But I want you to be extra careful. Vary your routine, keep your doors locked, call me if anything feels off. Rachel, holding 4-month-old Rose, nodded calmly. I'm not afraid of him anymore. He has no power over me now. But 2 days later, Rachel's doorbell camera caught Nathan standing outside her building. He didn't approach her door, just stood there for 10 minutes, staring up at her windows. Rachel called the police immediately. He's violating the restraining order again, Jennifer Walsh told them when they met at her office. I'm filing charges. He could go back to jail for this. Vincent was furious. He's testing boundaries, seeing if he can intimidate her. He can't, Rachel said firmly. I won't let him. But the incident rattled everyone. Vincent hired a private security service to monitor Rachel's building. Simone started walking Rachel to and from her car when they went out together. One afternoon, Vincent took Simone to a small French bistro for lunch. The restaurant was quiet, intimate, and Simone could tell he had something important to say. I want to tell you about my childhood, Vincent began. About Nathan and me. Simone listened as he described growing up as the younger brother of someone brilliant but volatile. Nathan had always been their parents' favorite, the golden child who could do no wrong. When Nathan started showing cruel tendencies, hurting animals, bullying other kids, Their parents made excuses. I tried to be good enough to balance him out, Vincent said. Thought if I was kind and successful, it would make up for his behavior. But it just made him hate me more. He saw my success as a personal attack. That's not your fault, Simone said gently. I know. Therapy helped me understand that. But I still feel responsible somehow. Like I should have done more to stop him before he hurt Rachel. Simone reached across the table, taking his hand. You're doing everything you can now. You gave Rachel a safe place to land. You're protecting her and Rose. That matters. Vincent squeezed her fingers. You make me better, Simone. Braver. I want you to know that. She smiled. You do the same for me. As winter melted into spring, life continued to improve. Simone was excelling in culinary school, already getting job offers from prestigious restaurants. Vincent's business was thriving. Rachel was a wonderful mother, and Rose was growing beautifully. But Nathan wasn't done. He started a social media campaign, posting carefully worded messages that technically didn't violate the restraining order but were clearly directed at Rachel and Vincent. He painted himself as the victim, the wrongly accused husband whose family had abandoned him. He's trying to control the narrative, Jennifer said. But it won't work. The court records are public. Anyone who looks will see the truth. Vincent had a different solution. He contacted a journalist friend at the Chicago Tribune. The resulting article told Rachel's story, with her permission, highlighting domestic violence resources and the reality of abuse in wealthy families. The response was overwhelming, supportive, and drowned out Nathan's attempts at manipulation. One evening, Vincent and Simone were cooking dinner at his apartment when he suddenly went quiet. He was stirring pasta sauce, but his mind was clearly elsewhere. What's wrong? Simone asked. Nothing's wrong, Vincent said slowly. Actually, everything's right. That's what I'm realizing. For the first time in my life, everything feels right. He turned off the stove and took both her hands. Simone, I know we've only been together for 6 months. I know you might think this is too fast. But I also know I've never been more sure of anything in my life. He pulled a small box from his pocket and opened it. Inside was a simple, elegant diamond ring. Marry me, Vincent said. Not because it's expected or convenient. Marry me because I love you, because you make me want to be better, because I can't imagine my future without you in it. Simone's eyes filled with tears. 6 months ago, she'd been a waitress with no family and no prospects. Now she was looking at a man who loved her unconditionally, who supported her dreams, who'd stood beside her through everything. Yes, she said, her voice breaking with emotion. Yes, I'll marry you. Vincent slid the ring onto her finger, and they held each other in his kitchen while the pasta sauce cooled forgotten on the stove. Outside, Chicago's lights twinkled against the evening sky. Inside, 2 people who'd found each other in the midst of someone else's crisis were building something beautiful together. Rachel cried happy tears when they told her the news. You two deserve this. You deserve all the happiness in the world. Rose gurgled in agreement, making everyone laugh. As Simone looked around at the people who'd become her family, she felt a profound gratitude. She'd been brave for 30 seconds in a restaurant, and it had changed everything. Not just for Rachel, but for herself. Sometimes courage wasn't about grand gestures. Sometimes it was just about stepping forward when everyone else stepped back. And sometimes, that single step could lead you exactly where you needed to be. The engagement brought new energy to everyone's lives. Simone and Vincent spent weekends looking at venues, sampling cakes, planning a future that felt both exciting and stable. Rachel helped with wedding preparations while managing motherhood, grateful to be part of something joyful. Simone finished her semester at Le Cordon Bleu with top marks. Her instructors encouraged her to consider opening her own restaurant someday. The idea seemed impossible, but Vincent immediately started talking about business plans and investors. You're brilliant in the kitchen, he told her after she'd cooked an elaborate French meal for Rachel's parents' visit. People need to experience your food. Maybe someday, Simone said, though the seed was planted. Nathan remained mostly quiet, serving out his probation. His social media had gone silent after the Tribune article. His business had suffered, several partners pulling their investments after the assault conviction became public. Vincent felt no satisfaction in his brother's downfall, only sadness for what could have been. One Saturday, Vincent took Simone to a small commercial space in Lincoln Park. It was empty but charming, with exposed brick walls and big windows letting in natural light. "What are we doing here?" Simone asked. "Imagining," Vincent said. He gestured around the space. "Picture it. Tables here, open kitchen there so diners can watch you cook. Your name on the door. Your menu, your vision, your dream." Simone felt her heart race. "Vincent, I can't afford this. But we can," he said gently. "Together. As partners. I provide the capital, you provide the talent. We build something that's ours." "You're talking about a restaurant?" Simone asked, her voice barely a whisper. "An actual restaurant? I'm talking about making your dreams real. You've spent your whole life surviving, Simone. It's time to thrive." She walked through the empty space, already seeing it in her mind. The kitchen layout, the dining room atmosphere, the kind of food she'd serve. Not pretentious or overly complicated, just honest, delicious cuisine that made people feel good. "Simone's," she said aloud. "That could be the name. Simple, personal." Vincent's smile was enormous. "Perfect. Let me call the landlord. Let's make this happen." Over the next month, they negotiated the lease. Vincent hired contractors. Simone designed the menu and kitchen specifications. Rachel helped with interior design choices, her marketing background proving invaluable. The wedding planning continued alongside the restaurant planning. They set a date for September, a small ceremony at the Chicago Botanic Garden. Just family and close friends, nothing elaborate. Both of them wanted the focus on commitment, not spectacle. Simone's foster care caseworker, Mrs. Patterson, was invited. She was the closest thing to family Simone had from her childhood. When she accepted the invitation, crying over the phone, Simone realized how far she'd come. From a girl with nothing to a woman building everything. Nathan's violation of the restraining order went to court. He received another 30 days in jail and extended probation. The judge warned him that another violation would result in serious prison time. When he was released, he finally seemed to understand the consequences of his actions. He wrote a letter to Rachel, which Jennifer Walsh screened first. It was an apology, surprisingly genuine, acknowledging his abuse and the damage he'd caused. He didn't ask for forgiveness or contact, just wanted her to know he was getting real help this time. "Do you believe him?" Simone asked Rachel over coffee while Rose napped. "I don't know," Rachel admitted. "Part of me wants to believe people can change. But I also don't owe him anything. Even if he does change, it doesn't erase what he did." "You're allowed to move on without forgiving him," Simone said. "Forgiveness is for you, not for him. Do it if and when you're ready, not because you think you should." Rachel nodded thoughtfully. "I think I'm getting there. Not forgiveness exactly, but letting go of the anger. It was eating me up inside. Now I just want to focus on Rose and building a good life." The restaurant space was transforming beautifully. Vincent and Simone spent evenings there, painting walls, helping install equipment, making decisions about every detail. It was hard work but satisfying, creating something tangible together. "This is what partnership looks like," Vincent said one night, both of them exhausted and paint-splattered. "Building something side by side. I've never been happier." "Me neither," Simone admitted. "I used to think happiness was something that happened to other people. People with families, with stability, with normal childhoods. I never thought it was for me." "It's for you," Vincent said firmly. "You've earned it. Every bit of it." As summer arrived, bringing warmth and long evenings, Simone felt truly settled for the first time in her life. She had love, purpose, security. The fear that it would all disappear was fading, replaced by confidence that she could handle whatever came. Rose turned 1 year old with a small party at Rachel's apartment. The little girl was walking now, babbling constantly, bringing joy to everyone around her. She called Simone Mimi and Vincent Vinny, which made everyone laugh. She's going to be the flower girl at your wedding, Rachel announced. I don't care if she just toddles down the aisle and sits down halfway through. She's doing it. I wouldn't have it any other way, Simone said, scooping Rose up and spinning her around. The wedding was 3 months away. The restaurant would open 2 weeks after they returned from their honeymoon. Everything was coming together like pieces of a puzzle Simone hadn't known existed. That night, lying in Vincent's arms in the apartment they now shared, Simone thought about the journey that had brought her here. From foster care to waitressing to culinary school to restaurant owner. From lonely to loved. From surviving to truly living. Thank you, she whispered to Vincent. For what? He asked sleepily. For seeing me. For believing in me. For helping me believe in myself. He kissed her forehead. You did all the hard work, Simone. I just got to witness it. She closed her eyes, contentment washing over her. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new work, new growth. But tonight, she simply rested in gratitude for the life she'd built, the family she'd found, and the future that stretched bright and promising ahead. August arrived hot and humid. The restaurant was in final preparations, staff being hired, final inspections scheduled. Simone was doing a trial run of the opening night menu when Vincent called, his voice tight with tension. Nathan's outside Rachel's building. She called the police, but I'm heading there now. Can you meet me? Simone's blood ran cold. She grabbed her keys and drove to Rachel's apartment, her mind racing. Nathan had seemed to be doing better, staying away. Why would he risk everything now? When she arrived, Vincent's car was already there. She ran up to Rachel's floor and found Vincent standing with Rachel, who was holding a crying Rose. 2 police officers were in the hallway. He didn't approach, Rachel was saying, her voice shaking. He was just standing there, across the street, staring up at my windows. When I came out with Rose, he started walking toward us. That's when I called 911. Did he say anything? One officer asked. He said my name. Rachel. Just that. But the way he said it. She shuddered. It wasn't angry. It was worse. It was possessive. The officers took detailed notes. This was Nathan's 3rd violation. The consequences would be severe. Vincent pulled Simone aside. I don't understand. He was doing so well. His therapist said he was making progress. Why would he throw it all away? Because abusers don't really change, Simone said quietly. They just get better at hiding. Or they wait until they think enough time has passed. Nathan was arrested within the hour. The hearing was scheduled for the next morning. Jennifer Walsh was confident he'd receive at least a year in prison this time. But the damage was done. Rachel was terrified again, jumping at every sound. Rose sensed her mother's fear and became clingy and fretful. The peace they'd all built felt fragile suddenly. That night, Rachel went into premature labor. The stress had triggered contractions. She was only 7 months pregnant with her second baby, a son she planned to name Thomas after her father. Vincent, Simone, and Rachel's parents rushed to the hospital. The doctors managed to stop the labor, but Rachel had to stay hospitalized on bed rest for observation. This is my fault, Rachel said, crying in the hospital bed. I let Nathan get to me. I let him affect my baby. None of this is your fault, Simone said fiercely, holding her hand. Nathan did this. Nathan and his inability to let go. Vincent was in the hallway, pacing, furious. When Simone joined him, he looked devastated. My brother almost killed his own son. Does he understand that? Does he care? I don't know, Simone said honestly. But we can't control Nathan. We can only control how we protect Rachel and the babies. Vincent's jaw set. I'm hiring full-time security. Starting tomorrow. Someone to watch Rachel's building 24/7. I don't care what it costs. Good, Simone agreed. Will Rachel and her baby be okay? How will Nathan's latest violation affect everyone's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to see what happens next. Rachel stayed in the hospital for 3 days before being cleared to go home with strict instructions to rest. Vincent's security team was already in place, professional and discreet but clearly competent. The hearing for Nathan's violation resulted in an 18-month prison sentence. He wouldn't be eligible for parole. The judge's words were harsh, noting Nathan's repeated inability to respect boundaries and the danger he posed to Rachel and her children. As they left the courthouse, Rachel looked lighter. "It's really over this time. He can't hurt us anymore." "It's over," Vincent confirmed. "And when he gets out, if he violates again, it'll be a felony charge. He knows that." Life slowly returned to normal. Rachel's pregnancy continued without complications. She remained on modified bed rest but was managing well with support from her parents, who'd extended their stay. Simone's restaurant opened to rave reviews. The Chicago Sun-Times called her food honest, innovative, and utterly delicious. Reservations were booked solid for 2 months. Vincent managed the business side while Simone focused on the kitchen, and their partnership was seamless. The wedding was 2 weeks away when Vincent found Simone crying in the restaurant kitchen after closing. She was holding her phone, looking at a foster care website. "What's wrong?" he asked, immediately concerned. "I was thinking about inviting some of my old foster siblings," Simone said. "Kids I grew up with. But I don't know how to find them. I don't even know if they'd want to hear from me. I wish I had family to invite." "Real family." Vincent sat beside her on the kitchen floor. "You have Rachel. You have Rose and soon baby Thomas. You have my parents, who adore you. You have Mrs. Patterson. And you have me. We're your family now, Simone. Maybe not by blood, but by choice. And that's just as real." She leaned into him, letting herself be held. "I know. I do know that. Sometimes the old loneliness just sneaks up on me." "That's okay," Vincent said gently. "Healing isn't linear. You're allowed to have moments of sadness even when everything is good." They sat there together until Simone's tears dried. Then Vincent helped her up, and they walked home hand in hand through Chicago's summer night, ready to face whatever came next. Together. September arrived with perfect weather. The day before the wedding, Rachel went into labor, right on schedule this time. Her parents took Rose while Vincent and Simone accompanied Rachel to the hospital. "I'm sorry," Rachel kept saying between contractions. "I'm ruining your wedding weekend." "Stop apologizing," Simone laughed. "This is perfect timing. We get to meet Thomas before we get married." The labor was quick, only 4 hours. Thomas Patrick arrived at 2:15 p.m., healthy and loud, weighing 7 pounds even. Rachel held him while crying happy tears, looking at this son who'd almost come too early because of Nathan's actions but who was now perfectly healthy and safe. "He's beautiful," Vincent said, touching Thomas's tiny hand. The baby gripped his uncle's finger tightly. "Look at that grip. He's going to be strong." Simone watched Vincent with the baby and felt her heart expand. They'd talked about having children of their own someday, after the restaurant was established. Looking at him now, so gentle with his nephew, she could picture it perfectly. That evening, with Rachel resting and the baby sleeping, Vincent and Simone stood outside the hospital watching the sunset. "Tomorrow we get married," Vincent said, like he was trying to believe it. "Tomorrow we get married," Simone repeated, smiling. "Are you nervous?" "Not even a little bit." "Are you?" "No," Simone said honestly. "I'm excited. Ready. This feels right." They kissed as the sun dipped below Chicago's skyline, painting everything gold and pink. The wedding day dawned clear and beautiful. The Chicago Botanic Garden was stunning, flowers in full September bloom. Mrs. Patterson helped Simone into her dress, crying happy tears. "I remember when you were 16, Mrs. Patterson said. So tough, so guarded. You wouldn't let anyone in. And now look at you. You've built a whole beautiful life. Thank you for never giving up on me," Simone said. "Even when I was difficult. Even when I pushed you away. That's what real love does, honey. It stays." The ceremony was small and perfect. Rachel attended with both children, Thomas in her arms and Rose toddling down the aisle ahead of them, sprinkling flower petals with enthusiastic abandon before sitting down halfway through, making everyone laugh. Vincent's parents were there, warm and welcoming. A handful of close friends. Mrs. Patterson. Gloria from the restaurant. The security team, invited as honored guests for keeping everyone safe. When Simone walked down the aisle, she wasn't being given away by a father. She was walking toward her future on her own 2 feet, choosing love, choosing Vincent, choosing this life. Vincent's vows made everyone cry. Simone, you taught me what real courage looks like. You showed me that doing the right thing matters more than being comfortable. You changed my life and my brother's victims' lives with 30 seconds of bravery. I promise to spend the rest of my life being worthy of that courage, supporting your dreams, and loving you with everything I have. Simone's vows were simpler but no less heartfelt. Vincent, I spent my whole life alone, thinking that's what I deserved. You showed me I was wrong. You've given me family, partnership, a future I never dreamed possible. I promise to love you, support you, and build this beautiful life with you, one day at a time. When they kissed as husband and wife, the garden erupted in applause. Rose shrieked with delight. Thomas started crying, needing to be fed. It was messy and loud and absolutely perfect. The reception was at Simone's restaurant, the first private event held there. The food was incredible, every dish a small work of art. Dancing under string lights. Laughter and love filling every corner. Rachel gave a toast that made everyone laugh and cry. A year ago, I was trapped in an abusive marriage, isolated and afraid. Today I'm standing here with my 2 children, free and happy, because a waitress I'd never met decided to be brave when everyone else froze. Simone, you saved my life. And Vincent, you helped me rebuild it. I will never forget what you both did for me. Later, when Rachel was leaving with her parents and the babies, she hugged Simone tightly. I named you godmother to both my children. I hope you know what that means. Your family. Forever. I know, Simone whispered. You're my family too. All of you. Vincent and Simone spent their wedding night in a suite at the Peninsula Hotel, too happy and exhausted to do more than hold each other and talk about the perfect day. We did it, Vincent said. We built something real. We did, Simone agreed. And this is just the beginning. They fell asleep wrapped in each other's arms, 2 people who'd found each other in the middle of a crisis and created a love story worth telling. The next morning, they flew to Italy for their honeymoon. 2 weeks in Tuscany, eating incredible food, touring vineyards, making love and making plans. They talked about expanding the restaurant. About having children. About growing old together. When they returned to Chicago, tanned and relaxed, real life was waiting. But it was a good life, a life they'd chosen and built together. The restaurant continued thriving. Rachel's children grew. Nathan remained in prison, and for the first time in months, no one worried about him. Simone stood in her restaurant kitchen one evening, watching Vincent through the window as he charmed a table of regular customers. She thought about that night almost a year ago, standing in a different restaurant, making the choice to step forward. One moment had changed everything. One decision had led to this: love, family, purpose, home. She smiled to herself, tied her apron, and got back to work. There were people to feed, and she'd never been happier. 6 months passed in a blur of happiness and growth. Simone's restaurant expanded, adding Sunday brunch service that became wildly popular. Vincent's investment firm closed its most successful quarter ever. Rachel returned to work part-time in marketing, her confidence fully restored. Nathan was released from prison early for good behavior after serving 13 months. But something fundamental had changed in him during that time. His mandatory therapy had finally broken through the walls he'd built around his anger and entitlement. He wrote letters to Rachel, Vincent, and even Simone. Not asking for forgiveness or contact, simply taking responsibility. His letter to Rachel was the most detailed. I destroyed the best thing that ever happened to me because I couldn't control my need for control. I hurt you in ways that can never be fixed. I'm not asking you to forgive me or trust me. I just want you to know that I understand what I did. I understand that Rose and Thomas are better off without me. And I'm staying away, not because of the restraining order, but because it's the right thing to do. I hope you have a beautiful life, Rachel. You deserve it. Rachel showed the letter to her therapist, who helped her process it. Do you believe he's changed? Simone asked her over coffee at the restaurant. I think he's trying to change, Rachel said carefully. But whether he succeeds long term, I don't know. And honestly, it doesn't matter. My life isn't about him anymore. It's about my kids, my work, my friends. He's just someone I used to know. That's healthy, Simone said. Moving on doesn't require forgiving or understanding. It just requires deciding he doesn't get any more of your energy. Exactly. Rachel smiled. I'm actually dating someone. His name is Tom, he's a teacher. Very kind, very patient. He knows my whole story and doesn't care. He just likes me for me. Simone reached across the table and squeezed her hand. I'm so happy for you. Vincent's relationship with Nathan remained complicated. He'd written back to his brother, a short note acknowledging the apology but maintaining boundaries. I hope you find peace, Nathan. I really do. But I can't have a relationship with you right now. Maybe someday, but not yet. Nathan respected that, which was perhaps the biggest sign that he really was changing. He moved to Milwaukee, starting over with a low-level job at a tech startup. No press, no attention, just quiet rebuilding. Simone and Vincent celebrated their first anniversary by taking Rachel and her kids on a vacation to Michigan. A rented house on Lake Michigan, 5 days of swimming and grilling and playing with Rose and Thomas. On their last evening, sitting on the beach watching the sunset, Rachel said, "You know what I realized? I spent 5 years in a relationship that made me smaller. And in 1 year with you guys, I've become bigger than I ever was. That's what real love does. It expands you." I felt that way too, Simone said. When Vincent told me he loved me, it didn't feel suffocating or scary. It felt like freedom. Like I could finally be my whole self. Vincent pulled Simone close. That's what we all deserve. Love that makes us more, not less. As fall arrived, Simone made a major decision. She started a foundation, partnering with Chicago's foster care system. Second Chances provided culinary training to kids aging out of foster care, giving them job skills and confidence. I wish I'd had this when I was 18, Simone told the first group of students. A path forward, people who believed in me, a real chance at success. I want to give you what I didn't have. The program was featured in Chicago Magazine. Donations poured in. Within 6 months, they'd placed 15 kids in restaurant jobs, 3 in culinary school scholarships. Simone visited each student regularly, mentoring them through challenges. Vincent watched her with pride and love. You're changing lives, Simone. Just like you changed Rachel's, just like you changed mine. I'm just paying forward what I received, Simone said. But she knew it was more than that. She was breaking cycles, creating opportunities, being the person she'd needed when she was young and alone. Rachel's Foundation for Domestic Violence Survivors launched the same month. She partnered with hospitals and clinics, providing resources and safe housing referrals. Her story had gone public, featured in interviews that helped other women feel less alone. We're a team, Rachel told Simone at the joint foundation launch party. Turning our pain into purpose. The best revenge, Simone agreed. Living well and helping others do the same. That Christmas, everyone gathered at Vincent and Simone's new house in Oak Park. A real home with a big kitchen and bedrooms for future children. Rachel came with Tom and the kids. Vincent's parents brought too many gifts. Mrs. Patterson made her famous sweet potato pie. As they sat around the dinner table, laughing and eating, Simone looked at the faces surrounding her. This was family. Not the one she'd been born into, but the one she'd found, built, created through courage and love and choosing to show up. Rose, now 2.5, stood on her chair. "Mimi, I love you," she announced seriously. "I love you too, baby girl," Simone said, her eyes wet. Later, doing dishes with Rachel while the men watched football and the kids napped, Rachel said, "Do you ever think about that night at the restaurant? How different things would be if you'd stayed silent?" "Sometimes," Simone admitted. "But I couldn't have stayed silent. Something in me wouldn't let me. That something saved my life," Rachel said simply. "I hope you know that." Simone did know it. And she knew that Rachel had saved her life too, in a different way. By accepting help, by letting Simone be part of her healing, Rachel had given Simone purpose. Had led her to Vincent. Had created this beautiful, complicated, perfect family. As the year ended, Simone stood in her restaurant's kitchen on New Year's Eve, preparing for the special tasting menu. Vincent was in the dining room, charming guests. Rachel was at home with Tom and the kids, finally having the quiet domestic happiness she deserved. The timer went off. Simone plated another course. Through the kitchen window, she could see Vincent watching her, his expression soft with love. She smiled at him, and he smiled back. A whole conversation in that look. I love you. I'm proud of you. We did it. We built this. The past year had been about healing. The coming year would be about continuing to grow. Together, surrounded by family, filled with purpose and love. Simone had spent her childhood dreaming of belonging somewhere. Now she'd created somewhere that multiple people belonged. A restaurant, a foundation, a family, a home. One moment of courage had led to all of this. And she would spend the rest of her life being grateful for that moment, and for the beautiful, unexpected future it had created. Spring brought new beginnings. Simone discovered she was pregnant, a surprise that filled both her and Vincent with joy and slight terror. They'd planned to wait another year, but life had its own timeline. We're having a baby, Vincent kept saying, like he couldn't quite believe it. You're going to be a mother. And you're going to be a father, Simone said, laughing at his stunned expression. We're doing this. They told Rachel first, who cried happy tears and hugged them both. Rose and Thomas need a cousin, she said. This is perfect. The pregnancy was easy, thankfully. Simone worked in the restaurant until her 7th month, then reluctantly handed head chef duties to her talented sous chef. The Second Chances Foundation was thriving, now serving 50 foster care kids annually. Rachel's relationship with Tom had grown serious. He proposed on Valentine's Day, and she said yes. I never thought I'd want to marry again, Rachel admitted to Simone. But Tom is nothing like Nathan. He's patient and kind. He loves my kids. And he makes me feel safe. That's what matters, Simone said. Safety, respect, partnership. Everything else is just details. Nathan remained in Milwaukee, truly rebuilding his life. He'd started his own therapy practice, specializing in helping men with anger issues. Vincent heard about it through mutual business contacts and was surprised to feel something like hope. Maybe his brother really had changed. Should I reach out to him? Vincent asked Simone one evening. She was 8 months pregnant, glowing and beautiful despite complaining constantly about her swollen ankles. Do you want to? She asked. I don't know. Part of me thinks people deserve second chances. But another part remembers what he did to Rachel, to his own children. You don't have to decide right now, Simone said wisely. The fact that he's doing better doesn't mean you owe him a relationship. Take your time. If you ever want to reconnect, it'll be there. If you don't, that's okay too. Vincent nodded, grateful as always for her wisdom and patience. Their daughter, Grace Elizabeth Ashford, was born on a sunny May morning. She had Vincent's dark hair and Simone's expressive eyes. She was healthy, loud, and absolutely perfect. Rachel brought Rose and Thomas to meet their new cousin. Rose, now 3, was fascinated by the baby. She's so small, Rose whispered, gently touching Grace's hand. You were this small once, Rachel reminded her. I was never that small, Rose said confidently, making everyone laugh. In the hospital room, surrounded by the family they'd built together, Simone felt overwhelming gratitude. 2 years ago, she'd been alone, working endless shifts, dreaming of a different life but not believing it was possible. Now she had everything. A husband who cherished her. A daughter who would grow up knowing she was loved and wanted. A thriving business. A foundation helping kids like she'd been. And friends who were closer than blood family. You're crying, Vincent said softly, wiping her tears. Happy tears, Simone assured him. I'm just so grateful. For all of this. For you. He kissed her forehead. Me too. Every single day. Rachel and Tom's wedding was in June, a small beach ceremony in South Haven. Rose and Thomas were in the wedding party. Grace, 2 months old, slept through the entire ceremony in Simone's arms. Watching Rachel exchange vows with Tom, seeing her face radiant with joy and free from fear, Simone thought about how far they'd all come. Rachel had transformed from a victim to a survivor to a thriver. She was strong, confident, building a beautiful new life. At the reception, Rachel pulled Simone aside. "I want to show you something." She held out her phone, displaying an email. "Nathan wrote to me. Not asking for anything, just updating me. He wanted me to know he's engaged, to a woman who knows his whole history. He's genuinely happy and continuing therapy. And he's signed over his parental rights to Rose and Thomas voluntarily, so Tom can adopt them if we want. How do you feel about that?" Simone asked. Relieved, Rachel said honestly, "It's what's best for the kids. And honestly, I'm happy for him. Not forgiveness exactly, but I don't wish him ill anymore. I just wish him away from us, and he's giving me that." "That's closure," Simone said. "Real, healthy closure." The restaurant's second location opened in August, in Evanston. Simone's sous chef from the original location became head chef of the new space. The business was growing beyond Simone's wildest dreams, but she'd learned to delegate, to trust her team. Grace was 4 months old, a happy baby who loved being in the restaurant kitchen. Simone brought her to work sometimes, letting staff fuss over her while Simone checked on operations. The Second Chance's kids adored the baby, gentle and sweet with her. Vincent's investment firm was expanding too, opening offices in 3 new cities. But he made sure to be home for dinner every night, to spend weekends with his family, to never let work consume him the way he'd seen it consume his father and brother. Fall arrived again, bringing the anniversary of that pivotal night at the Sterling Room. 2 years since Simone had stepped forward to help a stranger. 2 years since everything changed. The Sterling Room had actually closed, unable to recover from the scandal. But Gloria had been hired as manager at Simone's restaurant, bringing her warmth and wisdom to the team. On the exact anniversary date, Rachel, Tom, and the kids came to dinner at the restaurant. They sat at Simone and Vincent's favorite table, Grace in a high chair between her parents, babbling happily. To Second Chances, Vincent raised his glass. To the courage to step forward. To finding family in unexpected places. To Simone, Rachel added, "Who saved my life and created all of this." To all of us, Simone corrected. "We saved each other." They clinked glasses, the sound clear and bright. Around them, the restaurant hummed with life and energy. In the kitchen, chefs were creating beautiful food. Diners were laughing and connecting. The Second Chances students were learning skills that would change their lives. And at this one table, a family that had been forged in crisis sat together in peace, love, and gratitude. Later, after everyone had gone home, Vincent and Simone stood in the empty restaurant. Grace was asleep in her carrier, her tiny fists curled under her chin. "Remember when we first stood in an empty restaurant space?" Vincent asked. "Imagining what it could be." "I remember," Simone said. "I was terrified. It seemed impossible. But we did it. We built something real and lasting." Simone looked at her sleeping daughter, at her husband, at the restaurant they'd created together. "We did. And we'll keep building. Every single day." Vincent pulled her close, and they swayed together in the quiet space, 3 hearts beating in harmony. Outside, Chicago's lights sparkled against the autumn sky. Inside, warmth and love and possibility filled every corner. Simone had spent her whole life waiting for home. Now she understood. Home wasn't a place. It was people. It was love. It was the family you created and the life you built with courage and hope. She'd found her home. And it was more beautiful than she'd ever imagined it could be. The past was behind them. The future stretched bright and promising ahead. And in this present moment, held by the man she loved, looking at the daughter they'd created, surrounded by the success they'd earned together, Simone felt complete. One moment of courage. One decision to step forward. That's all it had taken to change everything. And she would spend the rest of her life being grateful for that moment, and for the beautiful, unexpected journey it had begun.